The lighting is good. Lighting's good because I want a real cinematic look, right? I want these 2020s to become very cinematic. So you want a little more lighting here, a little more shadow here. And you are dropping words now on me, McCoy, because you're getting so good at all this stuff. You said this is perfect lighting because you have a Rembrandt triangle on your face. And I'm like, whoa, slow down, dude. But if it looks good, I'll go with it, okay? So welcome back to the episodes, guys. Welcome back to the show. 2020, this is where I get to break down the past tournament, talk about what was good, what was bad. And before I get into that, I want to say a huge thank you and a huge I love you guys for all the support you guys have been giving me. So many of y'all have been on the channel since day one. All the episodes that we're shooting, all the tournament stuff we're shooting. From the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for supporting the channel, supporting us with merch, jumping over to Instagram and Facebook pages and dropping comments and being part of that as well. And I've spent a lot of time in the comments lately, guys, so drop some comments down below. I'm trying to respond to as many as I can. I just want to say a huge thank you. So if you have not subscribed to the channel, be sure to do that, because if you're watching this for the very first time on the SMC, this is not what the SMC is all about. This is just one video after some of the tournaments that we do, but there's so many cool adventures, from family fishing trips to hardcore tournaments to catching crazy things and challenges all along the way. So just go check out the channel. Anyways, before we get too far into what I did right, what I did wrong, I wanted to talk a little bit about the new Decked accessory that they just sent me. Pretty cool stuff. Decked is the storage, the in-truck storage system that's in the bed of my truck, has the drawers. You see me use it all the time. And they have accessories that go inside those drawers. Well, check this out, guys. This right here is what they call the drawer bag, or the D bag, okay? I'm gonna call it the drawer bag. But this thing is pretty cool. It is a bag, a soft but yet super durable bag that's like a backpack, okay? It's a backpack. It has heavy duty handles here. You can pick it up like this. I mean, there's so many different ways to carry this thing, and here's what I love about it. You can put whatever you want in there. Of course, I'm a fisherman, right? As a fisherman, I'm gonna put in here things like tools, fishing gear, stuff like that. But this one, I've got it rigged up with fishing line. So this is what I'm carrying my fishing line in at this last tournament. So it's a little light right now because I've taken some stuff out that's in the boat, but I carry in this little bag, which is totally detachable, by the way. This comes all the way out. I have all my little filler spools, right? That's my filler spools there. Then I have my big spools right here of P-Line Tactical, and it's all rolled up here, so nice little area. So at the tournament, when I would rig up line in the evenings, I would just pull this out of my bed of my truck, open the bag, leave the line in the D bag, and spool the line right on. It would spin right here in place. So it's actually kind of like a line station, which is cool. And again, this bag can come out, you can take it out, you can fill it up, you can, kind of set it up however you want. You have different little bags here for different things, or you can just put tools in it or whatever you want. But it's a really cool accessory. We'll drop the link in the description for the Decked D bag or drawer bag. And it's really cool. Like I said, you can take it out of the deck system, put it in your boat. You can, again, we might put camera gear in this stuff, which would be kind of cool because it is a backpack. I mean, you could literally put camera gear in there, but that is a really cool accessory from Decked. So check that out. That's pretty cool little deal. So that's enough about that. Now let's get into why you're here. So again, 2020, what I did right, what I did wrong. We just did one at Rayburn, and that was a whole lot of wrong. I'm still a little bitter about that one, but we did well at Hartwell, guys. I had a chance to win the tournament, and it was a really fun event. I look back at all the tournaments that I've fished over the years, and there's some tournaments that I've done well in that just weren't fun, right? They were stressful, like, you barely got by, you didn't catch a lot of fish, you just kind of got, I don't like to use the word lucky, but you just kind of junk fished your way into a good finish. And those are fun, right? Okay, but this tournament at Hartwell, I felt dialed in from the beginning. And if you watch the videos, I even said early in practice to Billy, like, dude, I'm all in. Like, this is my jam. This offshore thing, the brush piles, using my electronics, using my Garmin live scope, doing everything I can do offshore. That's my gig. I like that a lot. And when I felt like those fish were setting up out there, and I saw a few places that had quality, I was like, I'm all in, okay? And I was all in. I didn't spend any time running up the rivers. I didn't, and this is a risky thing to do, guys. I'm gonna be honest with you. Not having a solid plan B or C is not a good idea, right? In most tournaments, you need to have a solid plan B or C in the event, your main deal starts to fizzle, or you run out of fish, or the weather changes, or something goes down. You can switch up totally, like a totally opposite type thing. Like, for example, I'm fishing offshore on brush piles. I'm fishing offshore on shoals and points of islands, channel swings out in the main lake, timberlines. In all actuality, I should have had a backup plan up a river or shallow, like maybe not far away, but something where I could run up and fish docks for a little bit, or find some fish that are shallow along the shoreline and have a kind of a plan B. And I didn't really have that in this event. And it worked out in my favor, but that's typically not how I like to roll. I like to have a plan B or C kind of sitting there just in case. But I felt so good about it. I felt like those fish were kind of getting better and better. I felt like they were coming to me, and I felt like that shallow bite and some of those bites up the river were kind of going away. Like it just kind of didn't feel right. I think the lake was turning over. A lot of local people were talking about the lake turning over. And, I'm not a big expert on lakes turning over here in Florida. You don't have that problem too often because the lakes are shallow. But basically on a reservoir like Hartwell, you have a lot of deep water. That surface water, when it finally gets cool enough, it sinks down below and the lake turns over. And when that happens, it just makes the lake fish really weird. It changes the pH, it changes the oxygen, it changes everything about it, and the fish just get funky. And I think that's what happened, really, throughout the tournament. But where I was fishing was down in an area of the lake where there was current, and those areas where there was current and a lot of flow don't turn over as much as like areas that don't have a lot of current or flow. Like way up in the back of a creek where it's deep will turn over, versus out on the main lake where there's wind currents and current from the dam, and all that's kind of keeping everything moving and grooving all the time anyway. So I think I picked the right area of the lake, main lake, and I think I picked the right thing to do. How was I catching them? For me, it was all about brush piles, and it was all about trying to imitate bait fish. Hartwell is full of herring. Herring are an abundant bait fish in a lot of those lakes in the Savannah River chain, on Lake Lanier. A lot of herring in those lakes, Lake Norman. And the herring, they swim real fast, they swim real straight, they don't do a lot of turning left or right, they just kind of do their thing. And those bass, lakes that have herring, those bass, like honestly, I don't know how you can figure this out. It'd be kind of a cool little test. But I think lakes that have herring, those bass are faster than lakes that don't have herring. Those bass, like at Kentucky Lake, there's no herring. They chase shad, but I'm telling you, lakes that have herring, those fish are fast. Like you'll throw out your topwater and you can reel it as fast as you can back to the boat, and they will still come and get it. So for me, it wasn't low and slow, right? It wasn't drop shots and jigs and anything like that. It wasn't even spinner baits. It was too slow. I stuck with fast moving baits like Zoom flukes and topwaters and jerk baits and different things like that. That's kind of, and swim baits. That's what I stayed with throughout the whole practice and tournament. The biggest thing for me was switching it up a little bit each day. Like the first day, it was kind of cloudy in the mornings, and then it got sunny, and they got on the chrome. They got on like this white silver chrome fluke, and then when it was low light, they kind of got on ones with a little chartreuse in it. And so you had to kind of play the weather just right. And if it was windy, they'd be a little bit better on topwater baits, things like that. But when it was dead slick calm, they became a little weary. Like I saw a lot of fish like come up and hit the bait and miss it. Like didn't really try to eat it, but just tried to kill it or something. It was kind of weird. But another bait that I caught a lot of fish on, especially on day 4, was this topwater right here. This is just a Zara spook, a little chartreuse in it. I put a little feather on the back, which is something I like to do. Just adds a little flash to it. But that was a bait that I caught a lot of fish on. I caught some fish on the fluke as well. But for me, the first day was awesome. I had 16 pounds, or 15, 12 actually. And I caught a good many fish. Day 2 was difficult. Day 2 is what cost me, right? I mean, I'm not going to be that guy that complains about losing the tournament based on losing fish, because I know for a fact most people that were fishing out, kind of doing the brush pile thing or the herring fish, they probably missed more fish than they caught. I would venture to say. I bet if you talked to everybody in the tournament, they would just tell you horror stories about all the 2, 3, and 4 pounders that they missed. So I don't want to complain about it and say, oh, if I'd have just did that. But Day 2 is what cost me, obviously, because I only had 10 pounds. I had 16 or 15, 12 day 1, 14 something day 3, 10 pounds on day 2. I ended up losing the tournament by roughly 4 pounds. So if I could have just figured out a way to offset that day 2 into a decent bag, I'd have been right there for a victory. The best advice that I can give myself, and this is kind of the part of the 2020 that I get to, is where did I go wrong? Again, it was day 2. Again, it was not having those fish in the boat. Now, why did I miss them? Partly because it's just the way it is. But the big part, and this is where I think I'm right, is that I fished slightly different on day 2. Day 1, to me, day 1 is just establishes things, right? You can't win a tournament on the first day. It kind of establishes your pattern. It establishes kind of what your game plan, whether it's working or not, kind of the future, right? So day 1 went well. But day 1 doesn't mean a lot because you got to go out on day 2 and you got to catch them. Day 2 is the most important day because that's the day they cut from 177 boats or 179, whatever in the tournament, down to 12. So that's a huge cut. And I knew for points, right, because you know, everybody that's been watching this, it's all about points. It's all about making the elites. It's all about winning a Bass Open event so I can qualify for the Bassmasters Classic and hopefully one day win a Bassmasters Classic. That's my goal. That's my goal. That's what I'm fishing for. That's why I'm here, and I'm loving every minute of it. And first of all, before I get even any farther, I want to say a huge shout out to Bassmaster. Thank you guys so much for the events you guys are putting on, tournaments you guys are running, first class all the way, and I'm having a ball. I'm having a ball. I'm actually having a lot of fun fishing the opens. It's just been good hanging out with Andrew and Castledine and Hallman and Billy, of course, and a bunch of other guys. Getting back to the tournament, day 2, why was it a problem? Day 1, I fished good. I fished calm. I fished methodical. I was gaining confidence throughout the day. Day 2 was like, okay, different weather conditions, more pressure, right? Because more people are going to be doing that because the shallow bite just was really bad. So I knew there was going to be more pressure on the offshore stuff, different weather conditions. And I fished tense, right? I fished nervous. I fished too nervous. Like I fished where like every time I threw the bait out, I was just really tense. And I think I was just a split second too fast on a lot of things. I was too fast on hook sets. I was just a little too fast on everything I was doing. And if I would have just settled down and taken a deep breath, I think I'd have caught way more fish and salvaged day 2. I know that was my problem. I just fished too tense. Because on day 3, it was like, look, I'm in the top 12. I've taken over the lead in points. I'm digging what I'm doing. I'm going to go have fun. And day 3, I caught more fish. Like the fish that bit, I caught. Like I didn't miss that many on day 3. A couple that would have helped me a little bit, but for the most part, landed all the fish. And that was because I just was free. I was just fishing comfortable and I was having fun. That's just a mental thing, right? That's what's so cool about the sport of bass fishing. Because it's trying to figure out how to catch a bass. It's also trying to figure out how to execute a game plan. It's also trying to figure out how to eliminate water and find good water and I'll foresee the future, right? I gotta figure out in these tournaments how to foresee the future because the weather today is not the weather tomorrow. Like it's always changing, it's always moving, and if you can be ahead of the curve on some of those things, that's when you can keep staying on the fish. Because if you're behind the 8 ball on that and those fish are leaving or changing and that pattern's kind of going away, you'll get yourself in a jam where it's all of a sudden it's like, oh, I had a great practice, but I didn't catch anything in the tournament. That's why I love tournament fishing because it's so complicated. There's so many different aspects to figuring out how to win a tournament. And not just finding fish. It's all about a game plan, executing. Look, I've won tournaments and I've done well in tournaments by not being on the best thing in the lake, right? It's not about finding like the winning spot. Like a lot of these people think, oh, I gotta find the winning fish. I gotta find the winning spot. It's not about finding the winning spot or the winning fish. It's about executing a game plan where you're efficient and you have a couple key things happen in your favor. A couple big fish, you know, a good solid limit every day. You don't have to be on the best spot or the best pattern. You just have to be with the best game plan and manage that game plan the best you can, and you can do well or win a tournament. I do want to talk about one thing. You've seen me fish with a spinning rod. I've probably fished with a spinning rod the last 2 years. Yeah, 2 years. More than I've fished with a spinning rod my whole life. Like I used to just like not even fish with spinning rods. This is real talk. This is a favorite jackhammer This is a 7.2 right here. I have the 7.2 and a 7.4 and a 7-foot. This spinning rod is the best spinning rod, I think, on the market. Like, I'm real talk, okay? It's an expensive rod, but it is worth it. It doesn't break. It's sensitive. It's like the perfect action. The Forest Wood Cup last year, you saw me skipping baits with a wacky worm under docks, landing these nice big fish. I caught so many fish in this tournament on this rod. Matter of fact, here, take a look. Take a look at some of these fish catches. That calls that little super small one. That's a good one right here.
What's that?
That's a really good one right here. Oh my gosh. I need this one bad. My goodness gracious, dude, this is crazy. Oh, it's a big spot. Big spot. Yes. Thank you, Jesus. I mean, I caught a lot of fish on a spinning rod, guys. And how I have it rigged up, I have it on 10-pound P-line X-braid, rigged up to a 10-pound P-line fluorocarbon leader, about a 5 to 6 foot leader, and it throws well, and again, it's balanced right. Matter of fact, this is the same rod. This might even actually be the exact same rod that I caught that 10-pounder at Rayburn last year, first tournament of the year, on a drop shot. Another key piece of equipment, two things. One is Garmin Panoptix Live Scope. You've heard me talk about it. You've heard everyone talk about it. It is the deal. It is what we're using offshore. It's just awesome, okay? It allows me to see what I need to see, allows me to make better decisions, and it allows me to catch more fish. So the Garmin Live Scope is the real deal. It's just amazing. So that was a big part of my success, being able to see the brush piles, see where the fish, how they were positioned, how they were reacting to certain baits. All those things played a big part in my decision, whether I was throwing a topwater or a fluke or even a swim bait or a jerk bait. It just depends on how they were acting and where they were set up is what I was making the decision on. And that helped me by seeing those fish on the Garmin Live Scope. So huge shout out to Garmin. It's the most unbelievable piece of equipment I've ever been a part of. Now, the second thing that Garmin has made, you know, I haven't talked a lot about the Garmin Force trolling motor. Testing it out, we've been running it all year. We had the shutdown for a while. I've used it here on Okeechobee a bunch, and I'm ready to tell you what I think about it. Are you ready? It's awesome. With that Force trolling motor, 36 volt, paired up with the power pole charger and my Lithium Pro lithium batteries, my engine, when I'm running down the lake, sends the charge, the amp charge, back into the power pole charge, which is the charger, into the lithium batteries, which charge like extremely fast, which then gives me more power on my trolling motor and longer use of my trolling motor, which is amazing. So I'm getting, like, I'm just not running out of juice all day. Like, it's crazy how efficient the trolling motor is. And then when you add the charge and the lithium batteries on top of that, it's like a match made in heaven. It's brushless, so it's extremely quiet. It like does not make any noise at all. Like, that's a big deal. Number two, it is more powerful. It is I can go 4 miles an hour trolling motoring. When I was using the other trolling motor, I was going like 2.7, like seriously. So why is that cool? Well, because that means I can go 2.7, which is used to be my wide open throttle on the trolling motor. I can go 2.7 at like 60% now. So I'm not burning my batteries up. I'm not burning the trolling motor up. I'm not making a lot. I mean, it's just really super efficient and a super powerful trolling motor, and it's been flawless. I haven't had any problems with it, and it's good. So be sure to check out the Garmin Force trolling motor if you guys are getting ready to purchase a new trolling motor. All right, so I finished 5th, which is awesome, right? But here's what's not awesome, and this is a challenge to you, Bassmaster. We need a trophy. I think everybody in the top 12 deserves a trophy because I'm trying to fill up some trophies on my mantle over here behind us. I've had 2 5th-place finishes this year, and the checks are great, but I need a trophy because we need to start putting trophies on the wall. So I don't know what I'm going to do about a trophy, but I want a trophy. So maybe we're going to have to like make my own trophy. Maybe I'll get like to the trophy shop, and I'll just make my own trophy for 5th place. So guys, here, do me a favor, turn your notifications on. Be sure to subscribe, drop some comments down below, and we're going to be at Neely Henry, and these tournament videos are far from over, guys. We're going to be bringing you tournament videos, hardcore stuff the rest of the year. And McCoy, you did pretty dang good on this last series. The Redemption series, in my opinion, is the best one yet, but we've got better coming for you. So guys, thanks again. We'll see you. Bam!